Okay, good morning. My name is Achoyim Chidera, and I'm here to present my project titled XE103 Defense, which is basically the real life application as a cybersecurity analyst. So this presentation is a part of the Think Cyber Training Nigeria, and today's session is all about showcasing how hands-on lab exercises translate into real-world cybersecurity defense scenarios. So let's get started. Now, firstly, I'm going to begin by providing an overview of today's objectives, right? And the goal of this presentation is to demonstrate how technical mastery and practical applications of cybersecurity skills play a pivotal role in defending against real-world cybersecurity threats. And we'll explore how each lab exercise correlates to practical scenarios that cybersecurity professionals encounter daily. Um, Now, by the end of this session, I hope that you'll be able to see how skills learned here will map to rules like penetration tester, incident responder, and this is just not it's not just used for like theory. It's about practical defense and mechanisms that um we can use in real-time situations. So the first thing we learned about is Linux commands, right? And in the first lab, we focused on Linux commands for systems and network management, which are basically the fundamental skills for any cybersecurity analyst. You can't be a cybersecurity analyst without knowing Linux. Now, I mean Linux commands. So commands are basically instructions that we give the computer to perform any task. It's like saying commands like that you can give, okay, commands that you can give a person, right? Let's say you can give somebody commands like go, come. You can also give a computer command like mkdir, echo, all of this. So we basically talked about commands like echo, touch, mkdir, ls, pwd, and all of these commands perform various tasks in the system, right? Now, commands like echo is used to display information or anything you want. You can echo any information you want, like echo, my name is Chidera. Um, the another command is touch. Touch is a command that you use to create a file, right? So if you wanted to create a file, you input touch and then the name of the file. If you wanted to create a directory, you do mkdir. If you wanted to see your present working directory, which is pwd, it stands for present working directory, to show you the path in which that you are in. So it will give you, let's say on the desktop, it will give you the path to the desktop and all of that. Now, how does this relate to cyber security? Now, this is the scenario. This is the scenario. So imagine you're working in a security operation center and there's a report of unauthorized access. How do you investigate? Now, using commands like last grep ssh, you can basically quickly check the login activity for suspicious patterns. Now, these commands provide a starting point to detect breaches and respond swiftly. So the last grep SSH is basically a command that you can use to check login activity. Now the SSH is a stands for secure shell. Grep is a text manipulation tool, and last is the command to check the login activity, right? To check in activity basically. So that's what you can use this. That's how this scenario can be solved using the last grep SSH command. For all the labs I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to give you a scenario and how they can be tackled and explain to you how useful it is that we learned all of this. So the next thing we're talking about is text manipulation. It sounds exactly like what it is. Text manipulation is basically manipulating data or information, right? And in second lab, we basically focused on log analysis, which is a critical skill for incident responders. So logs are like the breadcrumb that attackers leave behind. Now, by analyzing them, you can detect events like brute force attacks. Now, there are text manipulation commands like grep, awk, grep here, like grep, awk, all of that, right? And you can grep is a tool for text modification that is used to highlight a specific word that you're looking for. So let's say you are looking for the word. Let's say um this line here was in a file in your Linux and you are looking for the word field, right? The if you put grep field, it will highlight this word, but it will print out the whole line. So it print out the line that this word is in. So if there are multiple lines here, like there's field here, there's field here, so it will print out this line and this line, right? But it will highlight this two field because that's what you are looking for. Now, there's also commands like awk, right? Awk is a it's sorry, awk is this thing text manipulation tool that you can use to select columns. So in Linux, everything is divided into columns, right? So imagine, let's say this was a file. This would be column one, column two, column three, column four, if you get. So if you check file and field is in column two, right? Field is in column two. And to represent column two, you put $2. So you can use awk to select the exact column that you want. So instead of saying just grep field, right, and to print out this line, you can say grep field and then you awk the column, right? TR is also another tool that you can use to TR stands for translate. So it's a tool that you can use to delete. That means that you can use to edit text. You can use the flag -d to delete things. You can use -cd. You can use -s for to squeeze. You can use various other flags. So now, how does this relate to cybersecurity? So, for example, using grep field, this one here, grep field var log or dot log, this using this command right here, you can count how many failed lines, I mean how many failed login attempts occurred to deeper. To go deeper, right? We can also extract the sort attacker's IP. We can extract and sort the attacker's IP with this command, right? The command below. So cat this. So basically, this line of code here grabs field password in this file, right? And this file, var log, this is the path. This is for SSH. You can use this path to monitor um, people that are trying to log into your server, right? So this file basically what it does is that you can count, you use it to count WC-L is used to count the how many failed login attempts occurred in the system, right? And now another thing that we can do is that we can extract and sort the attacker's IP with the command cat var this. So cat is basically a command in Linux to display the information that is in a file. So to cat this file, also the log, which is the file that you use to monitor people that's coming, people that are trying to log into your server for SSH, right? SSH stands for secure cell. So you can use this grep field password. You can is for to highlight the field password, the up print 11 and all of that. So this analysis not only identifies attack patterns but also helps in crafting appropriate defense strategies, and that's why text manipulation is useful. The next thing we're going to talk about is searching, and just like it sounds, is basically trying to find um things like security misconfiguration. So we learned about commands like locate and find. Now, how do you use this in cybersecurity? Firstly, locate and find are the two commands that we learned about. Find is basically is recursive by nature, and it's a command that you use to find a file or directory in your system. And locate is another useful one, right? That you use to find files or directories in a system. So wherever you are, you just put a locate and then the name of the file and then find it, find files with the name for you. So how can we use this in cybersecurity? So we looked at securing systems by finding misconfigurations, which is one of the easiest entry points for attackers. Now, realistically, a misconfigured file with word writable permissions can lead to privilege escalation. So using the command, this is the command, file type this the command we can locate such vulnerability files, right? Find is the main command, and then the type is the type of file that we're looking for, and then the permission that it was given. So this is what we can use to locate vulnerable files. Additionally, sensitive data can sometimes be found in overlooked configuration files. So the command grep irn um password in file etc will help us identify those risks. Now, the next thing we talked about is network services and basically monitoring and securing, right? So we explore the importance of monitoring network services, which is a crucial step to prevent unauthorized access. We used apt-get install to install various services like Apache 2, VS, FTPD, and SSH. Now, you can in you can become a client or a server using by after installing um the VSF TPD or the Apache 2 or the SSH. Now, does this relate to cybersecurity? So picture a scenario, right? Um, where multiple failed SSH login attempts are flooding the network, and this is where monitoring the network services come in. In order to monitor it, you have to go to the path var log auth log/auth, right? And this is the path. This this is the path, right? And this right here, VAR log, this is for SSH to monitor it. And then in order to monitor it, you have to tail it, right? So you put tail minus F auto log, and then you net start APNT, right? Exactly. So this is the command that to list the top brute force attacks right here. And then this is the command to check active network connections, right? So the net start is to check is for anything concerning network, and then grep listening is to basically follow up and like keep listening for this is to highlight this grep listen is basically to highlight the word listen in the result. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is the permissions in Linux, right? So securing permissions are basically like your first line of defense. Um, Mismanaged permissions can lead to catastrophic breaches, and in this lab, we focused on securing sensitive files. So there is the in is divided into basically the permissions is divided into three things, right? You can either be the user, you can be in a group, and you can be others, right? And there are three key permissions. There's R, there is W, and there's X. That's read, write, and execute, and all of them have numbers assigned to them. Read is assigned number 4, write is assigned number 2, and execute is assigned number 1. And all of these, so let's say that you have a file. The default permission for a new file in Linux command is 644, right? And you can change this permission, right? So in order to change this permission, you use the command chmod, right? And it's right there. Chmod is the command used to change permission. So all you have to do is chmod chmod and the chmod the then you write the permission that you want the file to be, and then you put the file name, and then you change the file for you. So it's important to understand permissions because these preventive measures may seem simple, but they play a significant role in defending against privilege escalations and internal threats. So you can change the um, permission that the file has, whether to the user is able to read it or to write or to execute it. So when you change that, it will make it harder for attackers to access a file that you have. Now, the next thing we talked about is bash scripting. So, bash scripting is basically used for automation. So, automation is a cybersecurity analyst's best friend. Repetitive tasks like consume repetitive tasks can consume valuable time, and that's where bash scripting steps in. So, why do we use bash scripting? So, let's say you are trying to perform a task, and this task is time consuming. Bash scripting is basically used for automation. So whenever you just run the command, it will just do perform the task for you. right? Instead of you doing it all the time, but especially since you already know how to do. So once you do it once, you can just keep like calling it back to redo it. So why bash scripting is relevant to cybersecurity is because automation ensures faster response time, allowing security teams to focus on complex threat scenarios, and that's why it's useful. We learned about things like if statement, the case. We also learned about um for loops and all of that. And this is a very useful thing in bash scripting because you can automate basically anything you want. So the if statement is a conditional statement that is used to produce an output if a condition is met or not. And it's also useful in the automation process. We use case statement to present the user with options that you can choose from and select from. And once you select an option, a specific output will be produced. So automation is basically useful for um as a cybersecurity analyst or whatever it is you want to become in the cybersecurity world. Now, TR is stands for translate. I mentioned this before, right? It's a command. It's a very useful command that stands for translate. It is also used in editing information. There are multiple flags in TR like TR-D, -S-CD. -D is basically to delete um a file. I mean, sorry, a word or a specific thing. So all you have to do is -D and then write whatever it is you want to delete, or you can do -S. So -S is basically stands for squeeze, right? So if you wanted to if there was a file and in this file the content there are instances where um full stop was put side by side many times. In order to make it only once, you put -S and then you put full stop. So it will make it one time. So to make something that appears multiple times in a row appear only once. -CD, it would delete everything except whatever it is you wrote. So you can put TR-CD. Let's say this line was in the file. You can put TR-CD format. And then once you put this, it deletes everything besides format. So -CD basically stands for this -C is a flag that stands for complement, and then -D is for delete. So basically complement delete. Now, how does this relate to cybersecurity? During forensic investigations, data transformation is vital. So formatting data not only aids clarity but also accelerates the investigation process. For example, converting usernames to uppercase uppercase, right? So if cat is basically displays the content of this file, tr is translate, and it converts all these lowercase letters um to uppercase letters. And this is basically the things that we can use to like be more efficient in cybersecurity. Now, um, next thing we're going to talk about is the final defense guidelines. So as we approach the conclusion, let's reflect on some key principles that guide the effective cybersecurity defense. So think like an attacker to anticipate. The thing that we do is we think like an attacker to anticipate threats. We defend like a pro by applying best practices and staying proactive. So the cyber Q chain reminds us to identify and block attackers' tactics early in the process, mapping these principles to rules such as SOC. We map these principles to rules such as SOC, analyst, penetration tester, and incident responder. Basically highlights the versatility of this skill. So I think cyber, you're not just learning theory, you're participating to tackle real world cybersecurity challenges head on, right? Now, in conclusion, to wrap it up, let's review the core takeaways, the skills, the application. So the skills that we learned is Linux commands for system networks, log analysis, etc., and all of that. And network monitoring, permission management, scripting, real world scenarios, detecting unauthorized access, mitigating brute force attacks, securing sensitive files, and monitoring active services. Now, continuous learning, cybersecurity is continuous learning in cybersecurity is very important, and cybersecurity is obviously evolving. So staying updated is not optional; it is literally essential. Now, looking ahead, these skills aren't limited to just labs or classrooms. They are applicable to emerging technologies, cloud security, and even defending against sophisticated threats like APTs. So, thank you for your attention. I'm now happy to take away questions and hear your thoughts.